Hello everyone! Now I know that I only uploaded the introduction to this project like a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, but the reason is that I uploaded that pretty late and I want to try and reschedule my updates so that they're at monthly intervals instead of having them at the end of the month like my introduction was. So I hope that's okay. It just means that the first update, this update, is really close to the introduction, so there's not a whole lot of progress to show you, but it will even out throughout the rest of the year. Now this may sound a little bit absurd, but I had a bit of a think after I posted my introduction on how my pen that palette was actually going to work this year, and it may seem a bit weird that this hadn't occurred to me beforehand, but I started to think what I would do if I didn't reach a goal on any shadows between each update, because I was originally planning on adding 5 shadows every update, and then it occurred to me that I'm really just adding a ton of shadows into a project and I am minimizing my chance of hitting pan in them by doing that. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this project over the course of the year, but I have stuck to adding the 5 shadows this month, and then if I work out a better system halfway through the year, I'll swap over to that. So I hope that's okay. The reason also is because I thought, like, if on average I hit a goal of 1 shadow pan a month, then I would still finish the year with 48 shadows in this project, and like that's just a lot. So we'll see how we go. I'll just show you the progress I made on my shadows that I picked out last month in the introduction and the products I'm going to pick for this month as well. So firstly, I have the Burberry Wet n Dry Silk Eyeshadow in the shade Pale Barley. This had very little use on it when I added it to the project in the introduction. Since then I've used it nearly every single day as an all over lid shade, and I'm really happy with that little dip there. I don't know if you'll even be able to see it in the camera, but it's definitely a dip. Like, that is not flat anymore, so I'm really happy about that. I'm hoping to make a lot more progress on it in the next month. I am using it as my all over lid shade, so hopefully we'll see pan in the next month. Next we have the Browbone shade in the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette. I've been using this as an inner corner highlight because I found it's actually pretty light reflecting and it works relatively well as an inner corner highlight. So I've been digging down into this little corner with a fluffy like inner corner brush, and I am definitely seeing some progress on it, but I don't know how deep these pans are, and I'd be really surprised if I was going to hit pan anytime soon, but that's what I've been using it for. Maybe when I hit pan in Pale Barley I can transition this into a all over lid shade, or probably mix it like a lot of people were suggesting that I mix it over the top of other shadows or over the top of bases. We'll see how that goes. Otherwise, I've also been making a lot of progress on this crease shade down here. I've been using it as a outer corner shade with Pale Barley, and that's probably the most I've ever used that shadow, so that's pretty good too. Next, I have the NYX Prismatic eyeshadow in the shade Golden Peach. I think I used this maybe once or twice in the last few weeks, so not a whole lot at all, not even a little dip in it. I'm a little bit disappointed because I was thinking this would be a really nice shade for summertime, and as it gets closer and closer to fall, it's not super appropriate, not super fun anymore. But also I paid like $6 for this, and I paid like $40 for the Burberry one, so I've just been gravitating towards the Burberry one. And lastly, I have the Urban Decay Naked 2 Basics palette, and I was working on the shade Stark, this one here. I've been focusing in this section here, and it really looks very much the same. I don't know how that is. I've been using it as an all over base color to set my primer, and I've also been using it as a transition kind of blending out shade, and it's just really not going as quickly as I thought it would, so I'll keep using it. It's definitely a pretty easy shade to work into any sort of look that I'm doing at the moment, but I'm just a little sad there isn't more progress on it. But I do have some good news. This is my Stila Eyes in the Window shadow palette in the shade Soul, and I was working on the shade Kitten. and there is a tiny little bit of pan there if you can see it. It's not the smallest bit of pan, but it's definitely a pretty small little fleck of silver. I hit pan maybe 2 days after filming the introduction. I had no idea the pans were as shallow as they are, but they are relatively shallow, so hit pan in that really quickly, so I'm really happy to cross that one off my list. And then, like I said, I have picked out 5 new shadows to add to this project for the month of February. I'm really excited about this because, surprise, surprise, a lot of these don't have all that much use on them, but I'm really excited to see how it goes. The first shadow that I've picked is this one from MAC. It's Fly by Twilight. It's one of their foiled shadows. It was from the Fairy Whispers collection from the beginning of 2016, so it's approximately a year old, and I think I've worn it on my eyes once, maybe twice, but I would bet money on once. This is what it looks like. At the moment, as you can see, it looks like, I don't know, like silk, like it's been crushed into some sort of silken pattern. I really like it. It is a antiqued silver, is the way that I would best describe it, and it is very glittery, very, very shiny. I absolutely love it, so I'm going to be trying to hit pan in that, though to be honest, I'm not holding my breath. It is quite a large shadow, and I've pretty much never used it before, so. Next, I decided to pick another shadow from the Urban Decay Naked 2 Basics, and this time I decided to go with the shade Frisk. That's this one here. This one has quite a bit of use in it there. I've used it a lot as a transition crease shade. This is what it looks like. It's really just a matte grey brown. It works really nicely for most of the looks that I like to wear, so I will try and hit pan in that one. And then I decided to pull out a real classic. Now, I decided to pick this because I am also using one of these shadows in my Project Pan Roulette. I'll link it down below if you want to watch the update where I add this to the project, but I'm not going to tell you which shadow I picked. You'll have to watch the update to know. This is the Lorac Pro palette. I haven't used this since probably like 2015 when I pulled it out when everyone was panning it, and I had to go at panning as much as I could back then as well. This is what the palette looks like at the moment. I have finished cream. I hit pan in nude, but it shattered when I dropped it, so there's no pan anymore. I have pan in champagne and in light bronze. This is the palette I have the most pan in my entire collection, so I'm quite proud of it. And the shades that I want to add to this project are Taupe, Mauve, and Sable. So these are all shades that I have dips in. The biggest dip is in Sable. So we've got Taupe, Mauve, and Sable. They're all matte shades, and I really like all of them. I use Taupe and Mauve as a transition crease shades, and then I use Sable in the outer third of my eye to deepen whatever it is that I'm wearing. So I don't really know how long it'll take me to hit pan in those. These are really easy shadows to use up. If you've watched anyone's 2015 pan that palette for this palette, they're just really easy to use. I have the biggest dip in Sable, but I have a pretty good dip in Mauve as well. The lowest dip is in Taupe, and that's because it's really densely packed in my palette, so it takes a really long time to get anywhere on that. So that one's probably the most troubling, but I'm hoping when I hit pan in Frisk, I can start using that one a lot more. So there you go, those are the 5 shadows that I'm going to be adding to my Pan That Palette challenge for this year. That brings my grand total up to 9 shadows that I'm working on at the moment. Hopefully I finish more than just one in the next month, but we'll see how it goes. If you have any suggestions on how I should actually run this project instead of constantly just adding shadows, that would be great. The reason I want to just add shadows instead of just swapping out and doing 5 different shadows every month is I know that I'm not going to be able to hit pan in everything in a month. And I think to use something for a month and then put it away again and then maybe bring it out later doesn't really achieve the goal that I want, which is to hit pan in as many things as I can. So I really just want to commit to some shadows and hit pan in them however long it takes me to. So not really sure how to do that, and while also keeping this project interesting to watch. So let me know what you think. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.